Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Hager 1252 3.5 by 3.5 single acting spring hinge, full mortise, standard weight, steel base. So let's dissect all that. First of all, the Hager 1252 is representative of the fact that this is a single acting spring hinge, commercial grade thickness, 5/8 radius corners. 3.5 obviously means the size, and on a hinge like this, 3.5, the first 3.5, doesn't matter here, but it's the height. So it's 3.5 high by 3.5 wide, versus a hinge that might be 5-inch high by 4.5-inch wide. Okay. Shown to you in the 626 or 26D satin chrome finish, and again steel base. That's a magnet. Okay. Full mortise, meaning that you can see the swag on the hinge leaves, meaning that when the door is closed, those leaves would be mortised flush to the edge of the door and frame. The gauge of the leaf thickness is called out at 134 thousandths, but I'm thinking that that's not correct. It's 131 thousandths is actually what the material thickness is. Okay. Mortise depth 119 thousandths. You know, I like the hinge to be flush myself, and you're really talking about, 12 thousandths of an inch. So if you took, a 32nd of an inch and divided that in 3 is what we're talking about. Very small margin there. There is a link below this video to that template I just pulled up and to the installation instructions. Installation instructions are also included, and we're going to go over that in a moment. It's very simple. Spring hinges like this are available from Hager in several different architectural finishes. They also make them in a variety of sizes, thicknesses, corner treatment. Okay, 3.5 like this is going to be what is considered a template pattern. Okay, and Hager has them also for other hole patterns. If you have something unusual, or maybe not unusual, but something that requires other than a template pattern, reach out to us. We'll help you locate that. A spring hinge like this, you're dealing with really, realistically doors, up to 3 foot by 7 foot. 3.5-inch hinge is probably going to be an 1 3/8 door, which means that you might have an interior door on your house, or maybe a garage door that's 1 3/8, and you just want it to close every time it's opened. That's all there is to it for whatever reason. If you're dealing with a 40-pound door, 1 spring hinge, 70-pound door, 2 spring hinges, and a 90-pound door, 3 spring hinges. If it's solid core, you'd probably be looking at 2 spring hinges for sure. Hollow core would be 1, maybe 2. There is, in my experience, a lot of evidence to support having more spring hinges rather than less. And that's based on the fact that I've installed spring hinges like this in instances where there were plenty of them on a door and instances where there weren't enough. In those cases when there was 1 spring hinge installed and they needed at least 2, what you find is you have to set the tension so high in the spring just to get the door moving with enough inertia to get it to overcome the wind resistance or air pressure. Also, the overcoming the friction of the latch as it hits the face of the frame. I have found that if I've opted towards having more hinges rather than less, I can set the spring tension less and balance that workload out amongst more spring hinges. And the net result is I find that I get more torque, let's say, like a tugboat pulling something, not real fast, but real slow, and can pull a lot of weight. And you get that sort of tenacity in the door closing when you've got lots of spring hinges to help share all that work, especially the critical last few degrees. It could be that you've got a fire-rated door, and you probably wouldn't with a hinge this size, but if it's a fire-rated door, self-closing and self-latching are 2 requirements. So to get the door to close is one thing, but you've got to have it latch. More spring hinges help that success rate, in my opinion. Now, setting the tension, painfully simple. You're going to get a tension rod. Well, this is just an Allen wrench, really. And that's going to insert into the tension collar in the top. That's an Allen key situation. You'll know it because the bottom doesn't have it. Okay, and you're going to rotate that clockwise as this is attached to the top of the door. Rotate it clockwise, and you can see as I do that, I'm revealing additional holes in the spring collar, in the tension collar alone. And it's in one of those new holes that you will insert a tension pin, and here they are. This order for the client has 3 hinges, so there are 3 tension pins. You get only 1 per hinge, and that's all you would need. Okay, and into that hole you'd pop in a tension pin, and you would adjust, is what you would do. And by the way, all metal screws, all wood screws are included in a complimentary finish. Non-handed, you can install this in either a, for a left-hand door, or of course for a right-hand door. Okay, no problem there at all. If you have any questions on the Hager number 1252, 3.5, 3.5, full mortise single acting spring hinge, or any other Hager product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.